Hey guys, sorry about that. I was just running around trying to find my backstage pass because tonight me and my buddies Doug and Skeeter were going to the 2009 reunion tour of the Beats, baby. I haven't seen them since the Killer Tofu tour of 1996, and I just can't wait to meet them. I couldn't find this for shit, guys. So, before Doug and Skeeter come pick me up, I figured I'd do a little quick review for, the 10th night of my 31 frightening days of Halloween. So here it goes, guys. Now, the two things that I'm about to review are two things that were staples of my childhood in the 1990s. The first one being Doug's Halloween Adventure, which was Doug's, the Halloween episode, and then the Rugrats Halloween episode entitled Candy Creepshow. Now, let's talk about the Doug episode first. The Doug Halloween Adventure takes place on Halloween night, and Doug and Skeeter are embarking to go to Funky Town, this amusement park in their town of Bluffington. And in the amusement park, there's this new haunted attraction called Bloodstone Manor. There's a big story about the whole history of Bloodstone Manor, about how a guy had built it, had spent 17 years building it, and then on his wedding night, he went in there and evidently he forgot to put the floor in, so him and his new bride fell to their deaths. And ever since then, people have been insisting that he's still in there haunting the park. So Doug and Skeeter find a coupon in a magazine that will get them into the park free if they wear a costume. So they embark to go in there, and then there's only a few minutes left until the opening of the park, and the park actually ends up closing early. So Doug, Skeeter, and the bully, Roger Klotz, actually decide to go in even though the park has been closed. So they go in, have somewhat of a good time until the ride just breaks down completely. And then Doug and Skeeter take it upon themselves to find a way out. Roger feels that he's been embarrassed in front of them, and they probably see him as a chicken, so he figures he'll get them back at his own game by making them think that he was abducted or taken by spirits or ghosts, when really him and his friends are just trying to egg and toilet paper Doug. Once Doug and Skeeter realize that, thanks to the help of the actual ghost that is living in the park, they get back at Roger by pulling some practical jokes of their own on them. Now this Halloween adventure, I think Nickelodeon always did a really, really excellent job on showing, any holiday specials that had to do with their classic cartoons were always phenomenal, no matter what holiday it was. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, just all of their holiday episodes were really, really phenomenal, and Doug is a perfect example of that. It's just, that whole spirit of all the characters I really love, and then, just the Halloween setting is just really good. I mean, I like the constant parodies that Doug's character takes on. For instance, in the Halloween Adventure, his Halloween costume is Race Canyon, which is obviously an obvious parody of Indiana Jones, and it's just really hilarious. So I mean, just the companionship between him and Skeeter, cracking jokes, and then of course trying to get back at the bully Roger Klotz is always a lot of fun. So this is always just crucial viewing. Now, as you can see, this is actually a box set of bootlegs, because I haven't gotten around to buying the burn-on-demand ones that I talked so heavily about in my Hot Topics videos. But these are, in fact, bootlegs, but the quality on mine are really good, so I'm really happy that I do have every single episode in their entirety in my collection. Now, moving on, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the Rugrats Halloween episode entitled Candy Creepshow. Now, this episode has always been one of my all-time favorite Rugrats episodes, regardless of holiday-themed or not. Now, this episode deals with the four babies, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil, on Halloween night, and Tommy's bitch cousin comes over, Angelica, taunting them about all the Riptar bars that she's going to be devouring and getting tonight because of Halloween and trick-or-treating. The babies are baffled because they have no idea what Halloween or trick-or-treating really is, so as Angelica explains to them and pretty much taunts them about how they won't be able to be going out for trick-or-treat, the babies decide to hatch any kind of plan they can to get their hands on some Riptar bars. Evidently, in Tommy's backyard, all of their parents are actually building a haunted house for the trick-or-treaters to go into to, get spooked and then, of course, gather up some Riptar bars. So by looking out the window, the babies realize that all these kids are going in there screaming their lungs out of fright but running out with Riptar bars. So the babies hatch a plan to sneak out of the living room, into the backyard, into the haunted house to gain and get Riptar bars, and hijinks ensue, which is always a really fun time. Just once they actually get into the haunted house, it's really funny. I mean, they end up hiding from all the kids that are coming in, and just like hijinks ensue, where a sheet lands on Tommy, so he's just trying to get out of it, and the kids freak out because they think it's a ghost, and then Phil and Lil fall into a bucket of spaghetti, and they're hiding behind gravestones, but their reflection can be seen. So the kids start seeing reflections of, like, these babies that have, like, snake-like hair, and then Chucky's leg gets caught into a skeleton, and as he's trying to untie it and get himself out of it, the skeleton actually drops from the ceiling and lands on Angelica, which, which all those things made the haunted house that much more frightening. So all the kids just quickly run out, and Tommy's grandfather, actually ends up going into the haunted house to investigate it and becomes scared himself. So the episode ends up ending off with, the kids actually, the babies retrieving bags of Halloween candy that the frightened trick-or-treaters left inside, and they pig out in Tommy's living room. It's a really fun episode. I mean, it's really, family friendly. I mean, like I said, I'm 21, and these are great episodes that are, meant for the family, meant for young kids, but, there's just something about these cartoons that I always keep returning to. I just think that they're really fun, they're really hilarious, they just have really solid, simple, colorful animation that, will appeal to adults and kids alike. And it's just, I hate to date myself and hate to sound old, but I have to say this, that they just don't make cartoons like this anymore. And I mean, if anybody has watched my Hot Topic videos, you know exactly where I'm coming from with Nickelodeon and, their whole direction that they've been taking themselves in the past few years. I mean, they are still successful because, they are making money and connecting with a new audience, but it's just a shame that all these kids can't really see, all the really great stuff that Nickelodeon was responsible for not 15 years ago. So, these two Halloween specials, the two seasons of Doug that are available through Amazon.com, thanks to the Burn on Demand program. I'm not entirely sure if Doug's Halloween Adventure is in the first two seasons. I have a feeling that it's not. I actually think that Doug's Halloween Adventure was actually towards the end of the Nickelodeon run, so I don't think that it would be in there. But obviously, this Rugrats set I got off Amazon.com thanks to the Burn on Demand program, and in fact, the Candy Creepshow episode is on season 1. So, if you guys are looking for like something really, family friendly and funny that'll really relate to adults and kids, and just really capture, the '90s child in you, definitely, stop by Amazon.com and pick up this season 1 set of Rugrats, because it really is a solid set. Aside from the Halloween episode, which is fantastic, the whole season is really great. And in addition, they actually have season 2 available. So, if you guys can get your hands on these, I would definitely highly recommend them, because these were just staples for me my whole childhood. I would tune into these episodes, multiple times a Halloween season every single year. So I am more than happy to have them in my collection, so I can return to them every year, as I did when I was a child. So, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in to, tonight's review. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for yet another review as the 31 Frightening Days of Halloween Marathon continues. Tune in tomorrow for all the frightening festivities. Thanks, guys. This is Frightener22.